G'day and welcome to the Simpsons Index. We have a wonderful episode today with the boys from Community Noticeboard joining us. Make sure you go check out their podcast as well and give it a follow. And while you're looking around for podcasts, also check out Starring Springfield, where we are reviewing the movies that star the cast of The Simpsons. We got links for all that and more in the show notes. But for now, let's do the Simpsons Index. The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming to you out of SideQuest Studios, this is The Simpsons Index, episode 306. Hello out there, I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, joined, here as always except when he's not, by BT Calloway.
Oh, hoi hoi.
And returning champions, we got Jamie Kirk.
Hello.
And Drew Bensley.
G'day.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Yeah, we're doing real good.
I was doing good this morning, and then I watched this episode, and now I'm not so good.
Showing the cards right away.
Sizzle.
I'll just give you a little hint as to my thoughts that I've written down here in my phone's notes app.
Oh, how new school. I'm still using pen and paper.
Okay, I like it.
It wasn't until we had a guest rock up with their laptop and it's like,
Yeah, we both just went, oh, right, yeah.
why haven't we been doing it that way?
Because we are cavemen, Elliot.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how we can record our voices and send it to the... How does this even work? Carrier pigeon? Surely.
Well, as you can see, it's being etched in on this wax cylinder that I have.
Okay, yeah. See, wax cylinders I can understand.
But before we get into the episode review and we hear Drew tear this one to shreds, we like to turn to our returning champions and ask, where are you guys at with The Simpsons these days? Are you going back watching the classics? Are you keeping up with the new episodes? Where are you at?
I'm sticking with the classics,
yeah,
but it's very much a Sunday night, Sunday scaries, chuck a comfort show on Simpsons or Seinfeld for me. So I think when I loaded Disney Plus up this morning, I was around that sort of season 6, which is the one we're going to talk about later. So I pretty much had to hit next step and I could watch the one that we're doing.
Oh, beautiful.
I like to read about pop culture a lot in general, and so I find that, I'm sure you guys find this, every couple of years there's a think piece that's like, The Simpsons is good again, or like The Simpsons has reclaimed it. And I know that it's been now like whatever season it's up to, like Al Jean has finally like given up the mantle to Matt Selman, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
And so like a lot of new writers have come in, and it's fascinating because like a lot of the new writers are like people from like the old comedy scene from like podcasts. So I know who quite a few of them are.
Yeah.
So I'm always curious to check in when people are like, yeah, it's The Simpsons is on a fucking heater again. So I checked in. There was one episode I quite liked. It was a very weird one where like they do like, essentially like a bunch of outtakes, but it's like...
Yeah, no, I know the one.
Yeah.
Where they pretend they've hacked the Simpsons.
Yeah, where it's like a hacker group has hacked The Simpsons, and there are some... That one I thought was quite funny. And then like you watch a couple others, and it's fine. You know, like I think the saying that everyone used to say when when people first said The Simpsons was getting bad was like, hey, like The Simpsons is bad now compared to what it was, but it's still better than 99% of what's on. But now, 99% of what's on is like accessible in a second, including classic episodes of The Simpsons. So it's hard when it's like,
yeah, I could watch anything.
Yeah.
Why would I watch
I
the
can
new
literally
ones?
turn on a good episode of The Simpsons right now instead of just being like, oh, at least it's better than what's on.
I think it's really telling where I noticed this with Disney Plus is Simpsons is the only show that lists the earlier seasons first. For most of the cartoons that are releasing new episodes anyway, like Bob's Burgers and Family Guy and all that, they put the newer seasons
Oh, is that true?
at the top of the list, and Simpsons is the only one where it's like, we know what you're here
Yeah,
for.
Simpsons has 3 to 8, and then it says other, and it's all the other ones.
Well, because otherwise it's like you're starting at 30 and going... scrolling through it.
Well, you guys would know more than me and Drew. Like, what is there? I mean, what's your general consensus on like where it's at currently? 'Cause I've seen
we have a graph.
We make a lot of graphs.
Yeah, I've seen your actual like the metrics for how you do it, and I've seen that it's not. You know, I haven't seen seasons 34 plus go much higher. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
There's a perk.
Wow,
That's a
that is-
crazy
there's our little
line
line graph. And so, yeah, there's the 30s. And as you can see, it's picked up. It's better. But we're talking it's back at like...
But you've got it on the second. It's just above the second lowest score you can give it there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No, the late 20s, very bleak times for the show. 30s, we're back at like late teens era quality.
But so were you ever of the opinion, so when you're talking about like the worst time of the show, were you ever like, well, it's still better than like today's sitcoms? Because it can't be, right? Like,
I might have said that for like, at least it's better for like seasons 10 to 14 maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it's a harder argument to make.
I can't imagine being in the 20s. And even now, you can find entertainment quite easily.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could watch like, I think you should leave and get like the anarchic spirit of the earlier Simpsons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're more in the era now where we've said multiple times, what is this show and who is it for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're taking
Yeah.
bigger, bolder swings
Yeah,
and doing
good for
more
them for that.
experimental episodes. Yeah, like that Outtake Hacker episode. And like there was one where they did a 2-part Fargo parody.
Yeah.
These sounds like interesting, but not interesting enough to make
Yeah.
me move my thumb a quarter of an inch to scroll down. But how, when you guys do this, you bounce around a little bit, right? Are you still,
yeah.
But are you like, oh, there's a new episode of The Simpsons? Are you watching it weekly when it comes out just because of
Good
the
Lord,
pod?
no.
Yeah, right. Because it's
We,
kind
we
of...
get our fill doing everything else.
I've actually had multiple people text me this week going, what's this Marge is dead thing going on? What happened?
Oh, yeah, I heard
And
about that.
I didn't watch the episode, but I looked into it. It's just like, yeah, that's the clickbait headline, but
Yeah.
the small print is, in the future, in a non-canon episode,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
dies. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of how The Simpsons is most popular these days, is if they can do these big swings and, you know, generate clickbaity articles to regain interest in the show.
I saw on Instagram that there was just a cut scene from a new episode where it was like Martin comes home
Yeah.
and he's not a kid, he's like an
It's
adult.
from
Yeah.
that clip show deleted scenes episode.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
hated
seen
it,
that one
by the
doing
way.
the rounds a lot, and it's like, what a bold stance. Like, well, it's a very, very directly non-canon episode.
Yeah, okay.
You can do anything in a non-canon
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it's just like if the headline was "The teachers are eating the students" and from Treehouse 5, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Drew, because
Yeah.
you guys you obviously do the podcast. You still watch like the late episodes. Did you find it like a little uncanny valley? Like the voices are all slightly off to me.
Yeah.
I wrote Willie's voice sounds different.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
but
then-
even Bart, like Lisa's the only one where I
Yeah.
was like, that's
Yeah.
Bart
completely the
sounded
same.
different.
Like Marge is clearly just like Julia Kavanagh's clearly getting older. Homer sounds more cartoonish than he ever has, I think. And same with everyone, but it could be an aging thing, but everyone
Yeah.
it is proof that like if someone was like, well, you can never replace the cast of Simpsons, you're like, well, you can, because they've kind of
yeah, they
already
have,
replaced
yeah.
themselves with a degraded version of themselves. And I saw like,
bit of Ship of Theseus kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
know like Rick and Morty did the thing where they obviously, because Justin Roiland did all that bad stuff, and then
Yeah.
they recast and no one fucking flipped a beat. I think like at this point I could probably be like, hey homie, and people would be like, you got the job.
Yeah, well, like, and especially like because because it's been like a thing for a decade now where Julie Kavanagh's like, people hear Marge and being like, oh, she got a lozenge or something.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we're noticing that with both Hank Azaria and Harry Shearer lately.
Because this latest episode is very big supporting cast light. Like it focuses in on a few people. So we didn't get to see what like Mr. Burns and stuff sounds like. but-
Burns is arguably one of the most noticeable. It's weird to say, but Burns sounds old now.
Yeah.
yeah.
But in a way, because there was a liveliness to him before that's just kind of lacking now.
Right.
It's weird to say Mr. Burns sounds weird because he sounds old, but that's the best, most accurate way of putting it.
Yeah, no, Harry Shearer is just like, and it's unenthusiastic performances
Well,
as
to
well.
be fair, we don't know what's lack of enthusiasm, what's just the limits of his voice these days.
Yeah.
Like, you can't help that your actors are getting older.
That's true. But yeah, he's not in this episode today, so let's talk about the characters that are. As we review Season 33, Episode 13, Boyz N The Highlands. First released in March of 2022, it was directed by Bob Anderson, written by Dan Weber. In this episode, Bart, Dolphin, Martin, and Nelson get sent on this wilderness retreat thing.
Highland Trek.
Yeah. And this is where I look around. It's like, we watched the same episode, right? Good.
You had a moment of pure terror there, didn't you, as a podcast host?
I always do. And it's only happened like twice that someone's watched the wrong episode.
Yeah, but still, it always looms.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Look, because of things like that, there is still the sign above my desk that just says paranoia saves.
Yeah.
We're double checking and making sure just that little bit of awkwardness will save you the terror.
Yeah, in this episode, they go off on a wilderness retreat that's led by Willie, but then he fucks off. And in the B story, Lisa is making Marge and Homer do some alone child time and making her do
Jules.
Jules. Oh,
Jules,
yeah, right.
yeah.
Don't want to dead name her for this weekend. Hey, what do we think?
In broad strokes, bad. I did write, and I think I'm echoing your point. I wrote, "Who is this show for?" Watching it makes me profoundly sad.
Oh.
Wow.
I was just like, it was bumming me out. I hated that the background, it just didn't. It was not Springfield. It was some weird,
Yeah. Look,
Very grey episode, wasn't it?
In one word, I found it, woeful.
How about you, Jamie?
I am more positive, I guess, on it than Drew. The word I kept thinking of was it's slight. And then I looked, and I know because I was a huge Simpsons nerd back in the day. I used to listen to all the audio commentaries and stuff. And when you pair it with the episode that we're watching for our bonus episode of our podcast,
That's a mouthful.
yeah. But that episode is 2 minutes longer, on Disney Plus. So I was like, man, they are they have to get through a lot of stuff in a lot shorter time, and it felt like it was two plots that kind of just had something but not enough to them.
Right.
yeah. There are issues with the economy of storytelling in this
I
as
actually
well.
thought the Lisa thing was kind of sweet, mostly because I am the dad of an only daughter, and I liked that, even though some of it to me felt slightly out of character for Lisa. I thought the main story was similarly slight, where technically all the beats are there. Bart learns that to survive, he has to bully the weaker kid. Then the weaker kid obviously reveals that Martin. I don't need to say the weaker kid. People don't know who he is.
doesn't
It's
deserve his
fucking
name.
Martin from The Simpsons. It's me being like, the spiky haired one, son of Homer?
The rascal.
Yeah. So Martin reveals that he's on a bunch of learning, assistance drugs, and his parents put a ton of pressure on him. Could be something. But everything is tossed so quickly, and then there's a slight horror-ish thing with is it Kearney and Nelson, and then it's just revealed they're film students for some reason, which doesn't make sense as to why there's that expensive Airbnb that they find.
Is that what? Because it's based off a movie I read on Wikipedia.
Yes,
I was
it is.
confused.
It's based on the movie Get Duked.
Which I've never seen.
Get Duke.
And it's quite a...
Get Duked.
It's quite a recent... It's 2019 the movie came out.
Yeah, and pretty well liked. Stars Eddie Izzard.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out, I guess, because I was like, why are they making this choice of every time there's the flashback, it's and they do that stylized
That was an
thing.
interesting style choice, but okay.
I
guess it comes from the movie.
One thing I did like is the bit where Bart continually walks in the triangle, around the map.
Yeah, the
Because
map.
one time I was in George Street and I got so fucking drunk. I was trying to find a taxi home, and I was walking for what felt like an hour and a half. I think it was closer to 50 minutes. And then after 50 minutes, I ended up outside the McDonald's where the Metropolitan Hotel used to be, and I realized I had just been walking the same block over and over again for 50 minutes, and I was so drunk thinking I'd almost walked back to Neutral Bay. And I was
seeing him in the wilderness.
Yeah, so when he did that,
I
I was like, that's the kind of relatable
We've all
humor I
been
can
there.
get on board
We can get
with.
behind that.
We've all been lost in the concrete jungle.
I will say it is a crazy thing to be an episode this slight, and then the title of the episode is a cap tilt to Boy Scouts in the Hood,
Yeah.
which is a complete classic episode from season 5, I believe. And then to be like, man, remember, it's the same title. I just man, I just wanted to watch that one again.
Yeah. Sorry I made you watch this one.
I got a little bit of trivia, though, that made me go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Dan Weber, the episode's writer, wrote one of my favorite Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes, The
Oh.
Zeppo.
Oh, is that right? He was on them as well.
Which episode?
The Zeppo, where it takes place entirely in Xander's POV while the gang is off saving the world, and he just does loser shit. It's great. He's also written a bunch of great Futurama episodes that I really like.
And he was a staffer on Family Guy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
throw to my shirt right there, which the
Yeah.
audience
Elliot
can't
is
see.
once again wearing the Peter Griffin as Link fighting a chicken
Yep.
from Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
That's right up your alley, Jamie.
Oh yeah.
Together at last. But let's kick off the questionnaire. BT, we'll start with you. For better or worse, what stands out to you from this one?
Well, it was going to be the fact that normally on an A4 page, I write like a full page of notes, and this one has maybe 3/4 full. But that's not really a thing to talk about. So really, I'm going to go with the kind of, and again, I'm talking about the economy of storytelling, where this whole thing starts. Everyone's on a wilderness, a highland trek, which is meant to be their punishment for the various crimes they committed, which is really weird, and it does waste some. First of all, there's no reference that, oh, isn't it weird we're doing a highland trek in Springfield, and also there's this Scottish music at the beginning. And then for the economy of storytelling, it's kind of wasted in the sense that it's Willie that drops them off because, hey, it's a Scottish thing, which doesn't make sense. And then he plays a video of Wiggum talking about the punishment. It's like, way easier if this was just Wiggum. Like, why are we doing these extra steps? And maybe it's a reference to the movie none of us have seen, but it doesn't add anything to it. It just kills time. And then you're like, but then why have this highland setting at all? You could just do it, the fields of Springfield or whatever. It just makes everything grayer and more washed out, and it's not bad. It's just a weird choice to really bank on this reference that none of us get.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and the whole grey landscape and everything, it's such a weird choice because, like, that is one of the things that we can give pretty consistent praise for in the new Simpsons. Yeah, the new, more computer-generated style, like, can be a bit off-putting and upsetting to us classic fans, but like objectively, like it looks good a lot of the times, and especially that they have, basically a new color palette and tool palette for making their art. They've like made some really gorgeous, lush-looking outdoor scenery at times, and yeah, this one was kind of dull for no real reason, and just made it kind of a dreary, drab episode to look at.
Yeah, which, I mean, fine. It's not a problem. It's just an odd... It's a choice, and I don't know why you made it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes into the style as well, which, they sort of set up something that they don't follow through with. They kind of commit to the whole map thing, which is a reoccurring gag, is what I can generously say about it.
No, for me, it just feels like someone heard about Highland treks and then decide to put that in here for some reason.
Yeah. How about you, Drew? What stands out to you from this one?
A couple things. So I guess when they're parodying the movie, and from what I read about the movie, I just read the Wikipedia today, it seems that movie is kind of a dark comedy parody of horror itself.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, classic and parody works when you're adding elements into something and doing it subtly, and like, that's a nod to a famous photo from the from the JFK assassination, which they've done before, and things like that. And then the second one that kind of really started shitting me is that, and it's always going to be the issue with like a show that's been on for close to 4 decades.
Yeah, they're just about to start season 37 in a couple of months.
It's
crazy,
insane, and it's like it's just the nature of time. But The Simpsons to me is just a fundamentally 90s show. And so when these new episodes, it's like...
Oh, yeah, it's weird to see them with an iPad and shit.
Yeah.
and so I was like, is it supposed to be set in the 90s? And then obviously they mentioned Facebook. And so I was like, okay, no, it's not supposed to be, but it kind of feels like it is. But then you got things when Bart wants to name the goat that they find Axl Dolph or whoever's like, oh, that name's reserved for Axl Rose, the god of heavy metal. And you're like, yeah, in the 90s, a bully kid would like fucking Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Now it'd be like, we should call it Sleep Token or something like that. Yeah.
So it's just that like incongruity that just throws me and annoys me.
Yeah. And The Simpsons came under fire for misgenrering a band as well in the past.
Really?
They called Judas Priest death metal, and they like incorporated their apology into a chalkboard gag.
Look, I did write down Axl Rose, god of heavy metal, lol.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in the 90s, but yeah.
Yeah, I could picture 90s bullies, they would wear Metallica shirts and Guns N' Roses shirts.
But
it just makes
now,
no sense for that kind of character to like that band or even know who the fuck that band is.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, and it is the kind of funny thing whenever they have like new characters in the show, how they like draw them pretty modern, dress modernly, and it's just like, wow, the Simpsons really are out of time when you compare them to the old character models.
Never try and think about time in The Simpsons.
No.
It will hurt your brain. The nosebleed will start.
How about you, Jamie? What stands out to you from this one?
Well, I kind of agree with Drew. Like when you parody a movie that's so not well known, you've got to really fucking make it funny, right? Like,
Yeah.
but like the other thing is that like Simpsons has famously parodied movies in the past. Like the one I'm thinking of that comes to mind right now is Rosebud. I loved Rosebud as a kid. I think Rosebud's still one of the best episodes now. I saw Citizen Kane 20 years after Rosebud and was like, oh, that's all the cool shit, but it stands on its own. This, I think you're like, oh man, I probably need to see Get Duped to like understand why they're even making these choices. The other thing is, though, I do think the Lisa story is quite sweet. So that did stand out. Like I, as a dad of a little girl, I do know what happens when you eat too much ice cream, get really excited and puke all over your shoulder, and then need to be put to bed. And like when Lisa woke up in her parents' bed, because our daughter sleeps in our bed at the moment, I was like, oh, that's very nice. She is 8 years old compared to my daughter being 2, but I do understand. I said earlier that like it seems a little out of character for Lisa, but I could see that it builds up that like Bart always gets his way, and they have shown that through the series, but they've also shown that they recognize that Lisa is like the smartest, like the one who's going to go fast. So the reason they pay attention to Bart is to make sure that he doesn't end up like dead in the gutter. Yeah. So it doesn't make as much sense to like... I don't know. I don't know if an 8-year-old girl would want a horsey ride from their dad. I'll let you know in 6 years when we cover season 44, where it parodies bodies.
I mean, give it time. I think the problem with Lisa's story is not that it's out of character for her to suddenly get kind of selfish, because they do justify it. I think she just kind of starts at like a 10 and moves to an 11. If she'd started a little bit like, hey...
You know where it might have worked? And I know this is limiting, but they could have done it with Maggie. Yeah. Like, they could have had Maggie, like, realizing and done it, like, mostly silent movie style.
Yeah,
like,
could have been. But I mean, just have her started off at being like, hey, you know, because everyone's away, how about we treat me like an only child? I think her decision to be called Jules for the weekend is something that really turned very hard. Like that's you've cranked that character to this character point to an 11.
I didn't
pretty early, and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Was that just for like a week, like writers having their cake and eating it too? Clowning on people choosing to identify as something without like actually having a swipe? Like
it just doesn't feel like anything in particular I can put a finger on. Like
it does. I know for a fact, knowing that I have a sister and knowing my wife and I've come into contact with some women in my 38 years.
Wait, what's that like?
You can.
Such an ally.
They're terrifying mostly, but like I know like a few women who have been like at around 8 to 10, I like told my parents I hated my name. I wanted to be called something else. So I do think that is probably something that was born of like a writer's room where it's like, oh, my daughter decides she wants to be called Drew today.
Sure.
Whoa.
Yeah, but even then, like, there's no... Like, surely Lisa, of all people, if she's choosing something, wants to be named after Sylvia Plath.
Yeah, I think it is harder when I think it is harder when you've got 36 years of baggage for an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah. It is one of the things that I do find charming about that story, because she gets so intense and like makes up the schedule for it. Like this isn't something that she just came up with, you know. It's been
boiling in the works for a while.
She's been thinking about, and you know, Lisa, like, and I think she is like more or less content or come at peace with her lot in life. That rambunctious older brother, 1-year-old baby sister, which. It honestly didn't occur to me until a few weeks ago when we were talking to Murph McLaughlin with him when he did the podcast. Is like, he mentioned, isn't it kind of funny to think that throughout the whole history of The Simpsons, Marge had a baby 1 year ago? Like, it's just a like weird reframing of that whole thing.
She really lost that pregnancy weight pretty fast.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She's a fox.
Yeah. Damn straight.
Marge, whenever Marge has her hair down, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, you're in safe hands here. We're all of that opinion.
It's like when,
I'm more of a Lois Griffin guy.
and when she puts her hair up. My God. Let's get through the questionnaire. How was the wackiness in this episode? What was some of the cartoony stuff that stood out to y'all?
Yeah, I like the supposed Satanist cult. That was a hard turn.
Yeah, you guys touched on it briefly before. I thought the reveal that they were film students the whole time was, I don't know, pretty weak.
Anytime where you get to watch, and you can tell they enjoy it, like dunking on film students, that itself is funny.
Yeah.
But the turn doesn't seem earned or make narrative sense when they're so terrifying. what the fuck is that Airbnb that like they get to? Like,
Yeah.
because they keep saying that the film students are losers and like are affording this for nothing. So who's hired that? Like, who knows about this?
I mean, this
Airbnb?
all has to come from the movie that we.
But this
seen,
sounds
surely.
like this is getting into like, I hope someone got fired for that one, which like you never really want to be, but you do get that way sometimes. But
no
like,
Airbnb would leave their keys out. They put it in a lockbox.
yeah. So I mean that I thought the horror cult thing was wacky, and that actually I'd probably I think BT maybe mentioned this in terms of like narrative economy. If you're gonna do a story about Martin feeling like a piece of shit who disappoints his parents and is on a load of drugs, like why not spend more time earning that than shoehorning in like a bunch of throwaway gags about Nelson and it's Dolph, right? Or is it Kearney?
No,
Dolph.
Kearney's the bald one.
Yeah, why a bunch of like gags about them like singing in a hot tub and farting and shit like that? Like,
Yeah.
like why not spend more time developing
But
Martin?
that should have been the whole.
Like I feel like a season 4 or 5 like sweet spot where they nail the sweetness would have focused on Bart and Martin being left alone, done like 1 10-second throwaway to the other two, being like, I wonder what's going on with them. And then it would have been like Bart learning that Martin had a really tough life and learning to be his friend, and then they'd cut the treacle at the end by getting back to school and they'd treat him like shit again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I like that story element that Martin's actually way more troubled than he's let on. And I thought that did lead to a good thing in the use of the animation where they did the flashes of how they got to where they are. And I actually thought all those gags were pretty solid where, it looks like Dolph's about to steal someone's purse, but he just pinches an outdoor heater because he likes to eat al fresco. I'm like,
yeah.
I like that character detail for old Dolph there.
Okay. I thought the goat was cute.
Yeah.
But it was annoying when it would like, sure, we all know goats eat cans and all that shit, but it like eats the lady's phone. I was like, come on.
Oh, I thought that was kind of funny.
No.
I think the worst thing for it was those fucking nuclear cheese bites or whatever.
Oh,
'cause,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know goats that well. I grew up with a couple of goats myself. They're meant to be doing like solid pebbly poos, you know?
Yes, I thought that very same thing.
Yeah, I know a couple of goats. I'm
mean, I'm
podcasting, the 4 guys in this room.
Thank you. But yeah, they did draw that goat as cute as could possibly be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked the eyes. Very accurate detail from what I gather. Goats have those weird eyes.
Yeah, rectangle eyes. They're unsettling.
Yeah.
No feeling behind
But
them.
and also that's something that annoyed me. And I know it was supposed to be film students the whole time, whatever, and they're scared there will be like this satanic cult. But like the goat was too cute. You think like Satanists, is that how you say it? Would be sacrificing an adult goat with the big horns, so it's like Baphomet and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I guess that was probably. I think I was just mad,
when
and
you're
so I
on a
was looking for
when
details.
you're on a low budget film, you use whatever goat you can find.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of what makes me think that the whole reveal was so weak because they didn't do any effort to make like it look like it could go either way. Like they just seemed like Satanists and like they were asking for their sacrifice and like there's no reason you'd do that. And like that they're breaking and entering into a house to look for the kids.
Were
and the goat.
you guys at all curious about the identity of them when they were? Because with the voice modulation, I assumed it would be.
I thought it would be parents.
I thought it would be characters from The Simpsons.
Yeah, or Willie or something.
Yeah, well, because that's the other weird thing about this story is like there's no parental supervision for that. I guess because Willie
kind of the
fucks
point.
off.
Well, that's something I want to kind of bring in terms of it being the punishment is if a Wiggum drops them off and there's like, okay, well, learn your lesson, you're going to have to travel here. And it's like, well, what if we get hurt or die on the way? Well, that's a risk we're willing to take.
Yeah.
There's a joke to be had in kind of there being no supervision, but it's just...
the joke was...
It starts so strangely, and then you have to filter everything through Willie for some reason.
No, and the joke of that section is Willie has to go do a kid's birthday party dressed as a dog.
Yeah.
That was silly.
Is this a thing? Parent in the room, Jamie? Have you had to hire a Scottish person in a dog for your kid's
Not
party?
a janitor of a high school who's also Scottish, but but I mean, like, I understand that, but it also feels like a first draft joke.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, could we think of something better? No.
Oh, there's so many elements of this that feels first draft. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how about the heart of this episode? Did we feel the emotional core of this one?
Oh, look, there is a kind of a nice bit where Martin kind of calls Bart out and says, you're only nice to me when no one else is around. You're not even a bully. You're just a conformist. And like that's got some strength to it. It doesn't necessarily earn it entirely, and my big kind of problem with the Martin storyline is his value comes from finding out he's also committed a crime to get here, rather than his value comes from, you're a dweeb, but your knowledge of like how to find your way around is useful. Like Bart gets lost, but when he's with Martin, it should be Martin understood how to use a compass, and then Bart doesn't, or something like that. But his value as a character only comes from him also secretly being bad, not his different abilities.
I got to say, I did have a little chuckle at the Bart going, the compass must not have any signal.
No, I like that. But I mean, we didn't even know they had a compass up until that point.
Yeah. How about you guys? How was the emotional elements of this episode?
I see you guys' point about, the Lisa story and the Bart thing, but like I realized when it was getting to the end that not only had I not smiled, like my face was so neutral, and then it was like roll credits, and I just was like, I felt nothing.
It's quite a neutral episode. Like there are ideas, but they're kind of left on the table.
Yeah, I just they're swiping at heart, but they're not quite getting there for me.
It's fun to see someone who hasn't succumbed to the Stockholm syndrome of Simpsons yet, and just us being like, no, it's better, like because we've seen some shit.
Well, this was coherent. You don't understand how rare that can be sometimes.
Well, I remember like during COVID when I came on when we did it remotely, I didn't mind that episode. And it was a late, it was sort of a season 30.
Oh yeah, the podcast one where Yardley Smith stars at Yardley Smith, and now since then she's at fights with her ex-podcasting partner. I think they were suing each other or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. But then also we did that Dennis Leary one, which nobody liked.
Yeah, that was bad.
Remember Dennis Leary, kids?
Yeah. That's right. One of the crux of that episode was Bart getting a flip phone. How far they've come.
Yeah.
Now he's got an iPad.
Yeah, Bart has iPad now. Yeah, I tend to agree though. Like the majority of the heart that you can feel from this one is coming from Lisa waking up in that bed going, I've got sent a spoon position, and it's nice. It's pretty insubstantial of a story, but it's nice.
Yeah, the idea that she's trying to shove as much fun into like this small bracket of time as she possibly can and then overdoes it, that is, relatable. And it kind of reminded me of Marge's, the whole thing of, what is it? Well, why can't I be greedy sometimes?
Yeah.
It's like, fair enough. Lisa never gets a chance to be the center of attention. She's overindulged in it. There's something there. It just doesn't quite get there.
I also think that Lisa's worked for me more than Martin's, which is maybe the problem of the entire episode. Because it seems like Martin should work better because it's got more focus on it. And Lisa's thing is firmly the B plot of this episode. But Lisa's thing was the only one where I went, and like, Martin's one feels like you should be gearing up to be like, oh crap, like this is a different Martin. But there's too much bullshit.
Ball's flat.
Oh, it's just such a massively dropped ball. But ultimately, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons? Is this the show we know and love? Are these the characters we know and love?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so, but I think that's, I would love, and I won't because who has the time, I would love to watch the episode before and after this one to get like more of a general view of like, because this one is, this one's not set really. I mean, it is, but it's not set in Springfield. Like it's in a fucking Highland and contained to the Simpsons house. So there's no Moe's, there's no power plant, there's no school.
You know what we should do is
drink 6 beers,
and just lay out the beats of how we would rewrite this episode way better.
Oh, that comes into the what would we change question.
Okay.
I think like with that as well, it's like,
but I want to get like granular because I know what I would change, but I'm like, because a couple of the points about like, the changing of or having a gag where Wiggum drops them off instead of doing that. I think parodying, I don't mind the parody, but let's parody a whole different movie and make it way more subtle. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
No, it was reminding me, I watched recently, what is it, The Legend of Foggy Mountain or something? It's 3 like very new SNL writers, and like they're doing a wilderness movie.
The Please Don't Destroy guys,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Oh, I like those guys.
Yeah. It was a solid ass fucking slapstick bullshit story, but funny as fuck all the way through. And Conan has an excellent appearance in it as well to tie it back to Simpsons somewhat. Yeah, highly recommended that one. But yeah, just to answer your question before, the episodes before and after this one, Pixelated and Afraid, which we gave a dull silver, is a great episode with a really bad first act, but it pulls it together. It's where Marge and Homer, funnily enough, with the pairing, get lost in the wilderness and lose all their clothing and whatever. And like a good portion of it is like basically them doing a Naked and Afraid, but with Homer and Marge.
Yep.
And yeah, that one actually really lands its emotional moment at the end, but has a sort of bad lead up to it. And the one after that, after this episode, is the episode titled "You Won't Believe What This Episode Is About. Act 3 Will Shock You," where Homer gets cancelled.
That's always tough.
Listeners, the look on these boys' faces.
I hate that.
I mean,
This
like,
is what I live for.
to be fair though, I'd rather watch that.
Homer's being cancelled.
I would
by the
also
way.
rather watch that episode in season 34 than season 24, I think.
Yeah.
Because like now at least I know it's got like younger, hipper writers and more female.
Yeah.
Like in season 24 when it was like a bunch of dudes like turning 60 who went to Harvard being like, well, cancel culturally.
Yeah.
We've had the Venus Gummy to Milo. That's Homer got cancelled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
That's the original.
It's the funny thing because, like, his offense in that episode isn't, like, awful. He just accidentally leaves Santa's little helper in the car. But, like, the response from everybody else, and I think that was our biggest gripe with the episode, is it's totally overblown and it's, just trying to do this fucking dated, half-baked take on cancel culture. And it just and wasn't that funny.
What's the funniest, like pure funniest episode of The Simpsons in the last 5 years?
Highway to Well.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
We gave that a shiny gold.
Wow.
Homer and Marge start competing pot dispensaries. Marge is like working at like a actual medical one and, prescribing and whatever. But Homer's like doing an experience one, which is setting up like an apartment where...
Feels dingy and dank and
Yeah,
even though it's totally legal, he's like, okay, man, just put the money in the cigar box there.
Yeah.
Sounds like trash, but trust us, it's actually quite a funny one.
I thought that not later season, but sort of when The Simpsons was sort of starting that decline, there was like a really highlighted episode in there, and it's the one where Homer gets prescribed pot and he gets that's a really
That's got
funny
a very
episode.
funny
fun,
visual joke where he shaves his face and all the rainbows come out.
Yeah, another great animation showcase one.
Like immortal for just slap him. Now, you call that a slap? Now slap yourself. Now slap me. Now all three.
Yeah, but you make me think because in terms of funniest, like some of the best episodes that have been lately have actually nailed the emotion, but not so much the hilarity.
Not so much the ha-ha.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
there's one that we did with B. Bubba Skirlid, Marge mid-childhood's night dream. Anyway, she gets the flu and gets all insecure about her kids growing up. But it's a lovely emotional episode. But,
Yeah, maybe not big on the laugh, but the story at least.
But yeah, Highway to Well is my funny recommendation for the recent season.
And what season is that in?
I believe 32, but I can't remember
So even
because
that
there's
is
like
still,
750 of these
Yeah,
fucking
even
things.
that's 4 years ago.
4 years removed from,
Yeah, 31.
I might give that a watch.
And
So
it,
5 years removed from,
and it guest stars Kevin Smith as well.
Oh, I like that.
Funnily enough for a pod episode, but yes or no, would you watch this one again?
That's a no from me.
Probably not. I mean, because of streaming, I can always just like put it on and take a nap. But I think like if someone was, I tell you what, if my daughter when she turns like 5 or 6 and is like, I like The Simpsons, I would not show this as emblematic of what I believe to be at the time the funniest show ever created.
Yes, totally.
All right, so the process would have to be, I'd have to remember what movie this is parodying, forget for 6 weeks, remember it again, see it on Netflix, watch it, then be like, okay, how does this relate to the episode? Then we'll go to watch the episode and fall asleep.
Yep.
That is my process for watching this again.
I'm going to change my answer to 100%. I might watch that movie and then I will want to rewatch it.
I'll
to
be
see
curious.
how,
That's really my only basis of what does that add to this.
I wonder if you guys could answer this or the listeners maybe. That this episode, what was the movie that it's parodying?
Get duped.
Get
Duped. Is there an episode with a less known movie that has been parodied? And if that's true, has there been one that's successful?
Listeners, shout your answers to your podcast device now.
Well, there might be maybe a single scene or a single joke that is a parody of a lesser known movie, but not a whole episode.
There was one that had an extended scene from Who's Afraid of a Virginia Wolf that neither of us understood.
Yeah. And that
but
was
how
another...
well known is that movie?
No, that's the thing.
But it's at least a classic.
But I wonder
Yeah.
how many people now would know the TV series 24. They did a full 24 episode
Yeah, but
back
I suppose
in the
at
day.
the time it's like
Yeah.
fair enough.
But yeah, and because of that one, like they leaned so hard into the style that like even if you have no reference with the show, you get what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they make the premise very clear. Like that is the problem with this one and with the Virginia Woolf one. Whatever they're doing, it isn't clear, and it does feel like I need to have watched this to get what they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, you mentioned Rosebud before, or The Shinning, like. You don't need to see these things. They're still great episodes on their own.
But also, I think though, like The Shining especially does a thing where you're like, maybe I should go find that movie. There's nothing in this where I was like, oh, there's a movie that this is based on. Hell yeah, I've got something to watch this weekend. Like it, I'll walk out of your house today and forget what Get Duped is.
I
and
constantly
I'll-
forget during this
yeah,
conversation.
I'll continue living
I don't
my
know if
life.
it's get duped or get duped.
Duked with a K, I believe.
K, yeah.
I'll get duped.
Duked.
It is like, I feel like if I happen to scroll past this movie on streaming services,
like Duke of Edinburgh.
Oh, maybe.
oh yeah, because
That's probably it.
It's a British movie. Yeah.
That's
that
a
makes
big
sense.
Walk, I believe. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
Fuck, but who fucking cares? Like,
Yeah.
No, and that's the, like at best I'll like see this movie as I'm scrolling through the streaming services. And oh yeah, that's a thing that they referenced. Okay, put it on the list and never watch it.
100%. And it's such a clear illustration of the decline of this great show that I did essentially the same thing maybe 2-3 weeks ago, but it was an early season where Hannah, my wife, and I watched Cape Fear, the Scorsese movie, then watched the Cape Fear episode and was like, what a fantastic doubleheader. And now I'm like watching some B-grade horror parody and a shitty Simpsons episode,
Did you watch Get Duped?
No,
No, I only found out about it today when I was on the Wikipedia.
I like how you had to think of the consonant in the middle
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Did you get duped? Did you get dozed?
BT, what would you like to change about this episode?
I feel like we've kind of run the ground of it.
oh yeah.
Look, economy of storytelling, make it. I really can't get. I don't know why it's Willie dropping them off and not Wiggum. That first of all saves time and makes more sense. And the only reason it's Willie is for a Scottish person to be there. For a reference, again, none of us understood.
Yeah.
So, and those people yelling at their podcast device, oh, it's your fault for not getting it. They're, again, the good parodies, you don't need to know it's a parody. You get more out of it if you do, but you don't lose anything if you don't.
Oh, preach.
So there's that. And then just a little bit more of Lisa getting too into it, like starting off at like a 6 in terms of, her, at the midpoint of her story, she wants to change her name to Jules because Jules is an only child and she wants to live that fantasy. Starting her so early on is just kind of what made her seem awful
Yeah.
rather than someone finally getting a chance. And just bring that Martin story in a bit more. Like, that's the thing with this one. A lot of the pieces are there. They're just not built upon until suddenly they're important.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to feel something. It's like, well, you get there first.
How about you, Jamie?
First, I would go to Fox and beg them to add the extra 2 minutes that the Simpsons used to have back in and lessen some
Yeah, they're
ads.
predominantly
Just
streaming now. What the fuck do
just
they
so
need?
you
They
can
have the
get it
extra
back
time.
to like, and I know we're saying this episode is slight, but it must be so hard to fucking turn in a script under like quick conditions and like keep it to that length just so they can put more advertisements in it.
Yeah.
Then the second thing, fuck the movie parody off entirely. You can do a story in the wilderness without needing it to be get duked. Get rid of 80% of the Dolph and Nelson cutaway stuff and focus more on Martin and Bart. If you're not going to be a super funny episode, at least nail the emotion of that. Maybe I agree with BT about Lisa going too hard too quickly. I think that is a consequence of the episode being a lot shorter, but there is something to be done there. And I guess I would maybe revolutionary idea, put in some jokes. But then like,
Oh man, the amount of times that we end one of these reviews just like make it funnier.
but also,
Yeah.
but I also hate that because like I don't think they're sitting around in a writer's room being like, damn, we are out of ideas. We don't like, I think they are trying and I think they are making jokes. And just because we're comparing it to a show that was maybe like one of the funniest things ever created, I do wonder like if you cut The Simpsons at season 8 and this was a brand new animated sitcom, like if this was an episode of Family Guy or something
Would
like that,
never make it.
would you be like, oh, this is not bad? Like it's a Simpsons alike, like the same way
Yeah.
that we thought Family Guy or American Dad was. Like, would it be
No,
doing okay?
No way, because Family Guy and American Dad are like joke dense.
Yeah.
And this is just not.
Yeah, and it's not even like all the other way into like if you set the scale at like Family Guy, all jokes, and then King of the Hill, all story. It's like, yeah, it's more all story, but also the story's not that good.
The story's bad.
What I'm more saying is like not even like Family Guy or American Dad. Like even if like sitcom as a whole, if you divorce this from the very heavy crown of The Simpsons, is there any way that you would be like, oh, this is an okay episode of an okay sitcom?
Maybe
like I'd rather watch.
But...
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I feel like we get sort of the, like, what if the same stuff, but it was a different premise, and that's where we get, like, the case study of disenchantment and just being like, yeah, maybe The Simpsons was the best thing you had. Like,
I do like that entire series is best described as a case study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, truly, truly awful show.
Truly okay.
Yeah.
At best.
How about you, Drew? What would you like to change about this one?
Yep, fully support both your points. I think definitely we fucked the parody off 100%.
Yeah.
I don't mind having, like, because the story itself, A plot and B plot, you write them down on paper. I'm interested in those stories. And I think the kids should be dropped off by Wiggum. Absolutely. This is a punishment. They get lost, you know, and I don't like the splitting of the group. I reckon we have all four together, and so you can have more of those dynamics of like Bart trying to appease the bullies and also learning to
like feeling a bit bad for Martin.
Feeling bad for Martin. And then if you're going to, because sure, I reckon they've probably done, I mean, season 1 or 2 has a, you know, Bart and Homer get lost in the wilderness sort of thing. So that they have done that. So if you do want to differentiate it and you want that slight parody, I think let's find a different horror movie. I don't love that you're parodying what is already kind of a parody, and let's find like a classic woodsy horror movie and do a little thing, and then it turns out to be one of the parents that finds him, and they think it's, you know, like,
It almost seems like it should be more of a riff on Stand By Me than
yes,
Get Juiced.
yes, absolutely.
Man, that is such a good shout, like not splitting them up, because Martin's reveal of being actually kind of psycho would hit so much harder if the bullies were there being like, whoa, that's sick. And then like it makes Bart's crime look so like lame in comparison. He stole drugs, man. And now you're the Martin, and then Martin's getting in on it. That's that's really good.
Yeah, that's what I'd do.
Yeah, I don't know how to top that. Like, I actually kind of wish we got a bit more from the Lisa story as well. Like, I don't know what the arc could be there, because I think the arc is fine for a B story. It's what you want. And, you know, I actually appreciate that the B story, like, makes sense in relation to the A. It actually ties into what's happening in the story. But, yeah, I'd fix the dreariness as well. Like, I guess with the background, at best, you're setting up that it's going to rain later, but it can just rain.
Rain just happens.
Yeah.
I
Also,
I want more greens and less
They've
greys.
also, like I said earlier, the title is a ripoff of Boy Scouts in the Hood, based on Boys in the Hood, obviously. But Boy Scouts in the Hood is so visually lush. An episode from 30 years ago that's also about camping. Yeah. Like, I get
and
that
mostly spent on an empty ocean.
Yeah, like I get that you're parodying a movie, but that in that case, I think the movie is maybe a disservice to what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, having that reference point of like, seeing the stakes and like the all this lost feeling that you get in that episode. How are they going to get out of this one? Like,
I wonder if I was a Simpsons writer listening to this, like ordering which of you I'd like to punch the most.
It's usually me.
I was including me in the thing, obviously. Of course. Not being like, I'd love to punch those other three guys. The other thing, I'd suck him off.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're punching me, but they want to poach me.
Yeah.
Got some great ideas.
Next Community Noticeboard announcing, well, I'm leaving for Hollywood, baby.
So long, suckers.
So long, Stinktown. All right, we are here. It's time for our final notes.
Now it's time for our final notes. Everyone's final notes.
Drew, do you have any more notes from this episode, things you want to mention before we move on to the rankings?
Final notes. I think I've said everything I wrote down, so I will leave it there. Just a profoundly, like, I felt sad watching it, knowing how great The Simpsons used to be and how much it means to me.
I'm glad we're covering a much better episode for your guys' podcast after. Jamie, any other bits from this episode?
I don't know if I need The Simpsons to get good again.
I just want it to end.
And I don't even know if I want it. Like, I'm fine with it going in perpetuity. My journey watching it is complete. I think. I've had my great times with it. I can still point to things. If there's something like, if there is a 10-year-old watching The Simpsons today that's like, this is the funniest fucking program, I'd be like, more power to you, dude. You can go back and watch like 30 fucking years of this.
I would push him down the stairs.
I just think I might be fine with like my.
I like that. It's like seeing an ex-partner that you went out with, 10 years ago in the supermarket. You're looking well.
Yeah.
All right.
I would push her down the stairs.
Yeah.
It's like, where are the stairs in the supermarket? Aisle 4.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, I don't even wish it was better because like that would imply like I watch it week to week and get so mad at it. But like I like that there is something like The Simpsons that's an institution, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't need to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you are free from that burden.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
BT, who's not free of that burden.
No. Look, there's a bit where they're doing like a, kind of military march song about, making fun of Skinner. Weirdly, it just lacks any melody or rhythm. Like it's that old na 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 na. They get that wrong. They get that pattern wrong somehow. And I have to guess it's because the voice actors weren't recorded on the same day. And
this was a 2022 released episode, so I think it's a reasonable assumption that this was done under lockdown.
Right.
It's still weird because that's not a hard rhythm to follow.
No.
Anyway, so there's a bit I have mixed feelings on where they're playing board games with Lisa and like, oh, we're playing Suffragette Monopoly. And there's the box. I kind of like the idea the Simpsons are also calling out the fact that they would, say something and then point to it. They're still doing it, but at least they're pointing it out, which makes me feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just pointing out your own sight gag.
I know. That's why I'm mixed feels on it. But,
and soon after, there's Homer has a line as like, "Do I have toenails?" Like, and I like that because you look at the Simpsons hands, they generally don't draw the nails, but they did in a recent episode where Marge bent her nail on a bowling ball, and like they actually drew it, and it looked awful.
I'd forgotten that, Elliot. Thank you very much.
Just a nice reminder.
There's a bit where was it Dolph and Nelson found the Airbnb and they're hanging out in bathrobes, and at a certain point they're in the hot tub but still wearing the bathrobe. I'm like, I thought it was funny.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
Did anyone pause it and read Homer's poem?
I did. It was bad.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a reference to a season 18 episode.
I can't believe I didn't get that.
Yeah, I know.
Elliot, that's impossible. Al Jean has recently stated there is no Simpsons canon. What are you talking about?
So it's Mo and Elisa, where Lisa helps Mo be a creative writer and poet, and Homer
Howling at a Concrete Moon, yada yada.
And Homer's mad at whatever thing that Mo got his poem published in because they rejected his poem, which was, "There once was a rapping tomato." That's right, I said rapping tomato. He rapped all day from April to May, and also guess what? It was me. And so this tomato, this
poem,
this throwback was another rapping tomato. There was once another tomato, the son of rapping tomato. He rapped really smart with all of his heart, and then who cares? He was famous.
Equal in quality.
So yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned before, Jamie, that like the title is a throwback and it evokes the Boy Scouts in the hood, and this one is like, oh, well, we got to get that season 18 gag everywhere. That's like, and it's not even like one of those like surprisingly late Simpsons moments that got memed. Like if you've seen that, like Homer with his skin pinched behind his back, I think that's from a season 19, or the At Least You Tried was a season 16 episode. Like, yeah, no one fucking gave a shit about rapping tomato.
Yep. Yeah. And yet. There's after Lisa has too much ice cream, throws up, Homer has a line of, "Oh, that's okay, sweetie. All my best nights end with throwing up." Like, all right, yeah. When the bullies get locked in the dungeon after the Satanists find them. God, that's a weird sentence. One of them has a line of, like, "You can't lock us down here. There's old lawn chairs down here." I'm like, all right, that kind of got me. Unexpected, I'll say that much. And my last bit was the line I did quite like where Martin's parents rock up and they're like, "Hey, come on, Martin, you'll be late for your violin lesson," which you play now.
Yep.
Oh, that was a decent bit.
And that is all my notes. Elliot.
You pretty much hit on the only other thing I got to add is Martin's like, "Oh, I'll get my steps up on my fat bit." It's just like, well done.
Jerk off motion.
You guys stayed up all night for that one, and you fucking nailed it. All right, it's time to rank this thing. On the Simpsons Index, we rank using a 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode was just meh, you give it a participant. But for the positive rankings, you got okay bronze, good silver, excellent gold, but for the best of the very best, you give cubic zirconia. I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. just skirting over the bronze line for me. Like, it's I get your points, Drew. I see you sharpening your knives there, but
It's coherent.
it's coherent. There's enough there that I'm like, it's okay, but I absolutely get the more knives out take. BT.
Look, I understand the bronze, and I did think about it because, hey, it makes sense. I get it. I'm not actively angry about anything, but I think this one's going to slip the brain pretty quickly. I am going to go with a participant.
Drew.
I'm participation or participant.
Oh, would have thought from those nights that you went down to failure.
Not a failure, because a failure to me would have made me feel more like angry. This was just like neutrality. It was just beige.
How is a man born with a heart full of neutrality?
Yeah, almost worse in a way.
Yeah.
Jamie, finish it off, please.
Yeah, it also has to be a participant for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all.
Yeah, I mean, this we've already said so much about it.
Mm-hmm.
We sure have. And the last thing I'll say about it, it is equaling a shiny participant. It's equal ranking with that you won't guess what this episode's about. And yeah, the overall season 33 ranking is a shiny participant, but to leave on a good note, the positive episodes from this season, mentioned Pixelated and Afraid before, huge rec for that. Recently reviewed Bart's in Jail, where it's actually Grandpa gets scammed into thinking Bart's in jail. Someone impersonates him, and it is actually like a pretty good episode.
I don't mind
Ends
that.
with a weird...
gets weird.
what is it? Yeah, Loki from that show.
Just Loki. The concept of the trickster god appears.
Yeah, but they're referencing that Neil Gaiman show.
American Gods?
Yeah. Anyway, weird ending, but good episode all round. And also Lisa's belly, which we quite liked, where Lisa's taking some medication, which makes her a bit chubby, and then Marge calls her out, and it's like, there's a
A lot of psychology stuff and how words can hurt.
Yeah, it's one of the more emotional episodes, but still worth checking out.
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks
no
for
worries.
having us.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Well, I mean, Elliot, if you want to maybe check something for me, because we have been asking our returning champions.
Oh, of course.
When you were first on this show, we would have asked you the difficult question of, if you could have a sandwich named after you, what would be on that sandwich? Now that you've come back and, people change, times change, we want to ask, would you change that sandwich? Are you a new sandwich these days?
I remember you asking me, and I don't know what I said.
I know, this is the time to reveal.
The Drew Bensley is the Dreuben, a very big Reuben.
I was about to say a Reuben.
no notes.
I'm sticking with the Reuben.
Flawless.
I've done it twice, right? So have I done two sandwiches?
No,
in my
it's
time?
usually only
No.
the first time, unless we forget. And then we
Yeah, I
do the
say
second
big
time.
chicken salad sandwich.
I've got written here American style chicken salad. Yeah.
Yeah, no notes, baby.
Yeah.
All right,
we don't grow or
got it
change at
right the
all.
first time.
No hugging, no learning. Just as they say in the Simpsons writers' room.
Perfect.
Well, there's a bit of learning on your podcast, though. Community Noticeboard. Tell the people about it.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. What's there to say, Kirky? It's a fun time.
We are a podcast where we interview guests about the suburbs they grew up in, but also all kinds of stuff. Recently, we just had an episode about a guy from New Zealand who got kicked out of school and home and joined gangs and smoked meth and huffed petrol. Very interesting. Someone who ran away to join the circus recently.
We had an Australian
Hilarious.
wrestler, Big Fudge.
Oh, yeah,
Big
talking about what it
Fudge.
takes to make it as a wrestler in Australia, and some of Australia's biggest comics and people from bands. Like we've had Jay from Friends of Rom on and the Sam from Fangs on. It's a good time.
Hell
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's such a great premise for a podcast to get into all these like little niche Australian stories and be able to have people representing their hometowns and
Totally.
it's such a good premise that you guys have hit on. And,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be joining them over on their Patreon feed to
Hell
talk
yes.
about Bart versus Australia.
Yes.
And, if you're on Patreon, maybe you could give us a little check out.
Yeah, I mean, you can always check us out on patreon.com.
/SideQuest Studios.
/SideQuest Studios. I forgot, we're not just the domain itself. We get over 200 exclusive podcasts that cover a whole range of stuff. Things like, what was the stories behind Bart's chalkboard's mischief, the punishments he gets? Where were the hidden stories on Story of the Chalk? Oh, there's also DVD and extras where we check out all the extras on the DVDs. But the main show, and you may
I
have
love
seen
those
on the
commentaries.
Yeah, me
out
too.
there on the free feed, is starring Springfield. If you're like, guys, you need to watch Get Duked, there's 7 stars of The Simpsons are in there.
I did check. No, there's no Simpsons
Well,
people in it.
fuck off, Elliot. I was trying to do a bit. You just do this yourself.
Starring Springfield. We're reviewing movies that Simpsons cast were in. Have you guys got any movies that spring to mind from that?
Absolutely.
Spinal Tap. This is
Yeah.
Spinal Tap.
What was the one? And I think maybe it was based off a true story, but it stars Simon Pegg, and he's like a runner, and then
Run, Fat
Run,
Boy,
Fat Boy,
Run.
Run.
yeah,
Run it.
I liked that movie. Yeah, that was quite good.
It's all-
Yeah, it was okay.
Directed by
That's fine.
Ross.
Hank Azaria is in that as the
And he's
antagonist.
buff as shit.
Oh, he's looking svelte.
Yeah.
Like and man, we've actually seen a lot of good-looking Hank Azaria. Like in the
ACP.
pardon.
ACP. Along Came Polly.
Oh,
yeah.
that's on the list. I hated that movie when I watched
Well,
it.
if they make us watch it, we will for you, the listener.
Yeah, that's right. That's part of the perks of being on the Patreon.
Yeah.
You get to pick the movies we watch. As long as they star a cast member of The Simpsons, we'll
Yeah.
watch it.
So if you hear us say we hate something, you're like, haha, I know what I'm going to make you watch.
But yeah, we did Spinal Tap as well, and
Yeah.
tempted to do a re-review of that one because it's coming back around to theaters. They're doing a big 41st anniversary re-screening in 4K and everything.
Such a great movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
But this one goes to 41.
But yeah, links are in the show notes for all that. But for now, I think that's us done for today. Thank you, Drew.
Oh, mate, thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you, Jamie.
See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, BT.
I really hate that my big walkout moment involved batting a mic stand that made no sound. So
I got to
We
get
can
more
put
drum-
in a sound
I
effect.
know.
Yeah, big doing.
Boing. Yeah, I was thinking the
Awooga.
bonus sound too.
All right, going to open up the Logic Pro
Hell
default comedy sound effect pack. But until then, I've been Elliot J. O'Neill. That's all the mustard in the house.
And in the Highlands.
The Highlands,
The
yeah.
Highlands, yeah. Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. We're also on social media. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and on Threads. Links for all that and more are down in the show notes. And lastly, consider giving us a 5-star review. Why not? We'd do it for you. Now, there's no bonus scenes for this episode. Everything we left in was pure gold, so we'll catch you next time.